What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode here on Sancho Gaming, and this is a special day. Today, Naughty Dog released the Uncharted Lost Legacy Riverboat Revelation cinematic trailer, and this cinematic trailer reveals a whole bunch. And for those of you who are new, thank you guys so much. At the end of the episode, if you enjoyed what you saw, leave a like and consider subscribing. But also, if you guys are new as well, is when I do with these Uncharted video breakdowns, which I'm going to go ahead and start and stop and talk about things that I noticed regarding the trailer itself. And there's just so much cool stuff embedded in this cinematic that Naughty Dog did. And again, Naughty Dog does not do things on accident. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and just watch the trailer a bit, start and stop, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about some things. I did a little bit of research. A lot of the research that I'm present in this video involving Hinduism, and I am by any means an expert in Hinduism. I did study it in college way back when I did some of my Eastern religions, studying Buddhism, Zen, and all these kinds of things, and Hinduism is one of them. And one of the things I'm very excited about Uncharted Lost Legacy is exploring the Hindu mythology. I'm a big fan of mythology, especially Greek mythology and Roman mythology, all those kinds of things. So it's very interesting to sink my teeth back into Hindu mythology, which plays a huge role in this game. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And forgive me, there's lots of things I want to be juggling around, and this is all live editing. So let's have fun with this right here. So let's go ahead to the beginning of the trailer. First things first, wow, very, very beautiful. Like, holy cow. Now, this river, I've been trying to figure out what is this river in the game. Of course, it's set in India. They've already said in various interviews at Game Informer that this is going to be one location. So we're going to get this game, of course, set in India, and they are heading west. So the sun is rising in the east, and they are heading west away from the sun. I know, right? Trying to get all into it. Now, my guess is this river is the river Ganges. And a little bit more about, we'll get into why I think this river plays a bigger role into the game, as well, not only that, in mechanics. But let's move on. Of course, we have Nadine.
How are we going out there?
Now, here's the thing that I want to point out. This entire cinematic is very heavy. It's very dense. There is a thickness in the air. There is an elephant in the room. Pun not intended. There is something weighing Khloe down. Now, my guess that this cinematic is in the later state, in the right after, you know, the opening PlayStation Experience trailer, where you see Khloe, you're following Khloe, and then you reveal it's Khloe, and they have this big action piece, a little mini action hand-to-hand combat. This is after that. I'm assuming Khloe and Nadine went ahead and grabbed this little artifact in that city, and now they are racing towards where it is known to be. I'm guessing the Palace of Shiva. And there's so many things that get into it. Again, I am just guessing. This is all speculation. This is all meant for entertainment, and hopefully, maybe I get things right. Now, again, Khloe, you just pay attention to Khloe's demeanor, Naughty Dog's details in her thing. This is completely different from Drake's happy-go-lucky, we're going to go ahead and do all these types of vibe, like, yeah, type of mentality that you've seen in the previous Uncharted's. And this is more geared towards finding Khloe's, perhaps her lost legacy, and I will tie that into why the Uncharted title Lost Legacy is more about Khloe. So let's continue on.
On schedule. Should hit land in about an hour.
Great.
The tusk of Ganesh. No wonder the Hoysala capital was ransacked.
Okay, so one of the things that I noticed as soon as I fired up this trailer is the whole thing of them being on a river. I mentioned it a little bit before, but there's a bigger parallel to that than just them being in India in a river and on a steamboat, for crying out loud, or a tugboat, whatever, steamboat. This reminds me a lot of Conrad's Heart of Darkness. For those of you who don't remember, that's a book I read in high school some odd years ago. The Heart of Darkness was a book about Marlowe, the protagonist, I may be forgetting anything, the protagonist heading into Africa, the heart of Africa, up the Congo River for ivory. ivory tusk. The same thing. Ivory tusk. The point is, The Heart of Darkness was a book about imperialism and the nature of the human being. Even though you are civilized, deep within the Heart of Darkness, in the words of the book, there is a savagery. There is a beast within, the emotions within, the visceral, the guttural thing within. And so it's finding it very interesting that Naughty Dog chose a boat. They chose going down up a river. This is the thing that I'm trying to say, is that there is some parallels in that. And again, India was imperialized by the British, and Khloe's background, which I think we're going to go discover more and more. Khloe, they've been saying that she's Australian, and that again, Australia was in the imperial rule of Britain. So all these kinds of things are kind of coming to a head, and we're going to discover all these things in the thing. And one thing, Nadine is very, very fit, and again, this is after Uncharted 4, so more on that later. But yeah, Heart of Darkness, Ivory, Tusk of Ganesh. Moving on.
Look at this thing. Any luck?
I don't need luck.
Let's say we can use all the luck we can get.
Are you still hung up on Asav's so-called expert? Don't worry.
If Asav's not in the gets already, he'll be right on our heels. Plus, he's got weapons. Transports hundreds of men.
Like I said, don't worry.
Looks like some kind of key.
Maybe. Let's see. Okay. The Trident was Ganesh's weapon.
Okay. So we're going to get more into this whole thing. Now, tridents in the Hinduism, all those kinds of things, the Trisula, the triple spear, various deities and gods hold this, including Shiva. Shiva has it as well. Now, the trident is three-pronged, and it represents different things. As you can see on the very right, it says destroyer of three worlds. The physical world, the world of the forefathers, which is, I believe, the spiritual world, and the world of the mind. So the physical world, the world of the forefathers, which is the spiritual world, and the world of the mind, world of the mind. So these things, three things, represent different state of beings, so to speak. While you're awake, while you're sleeping, and while you're dreaming. Those kinds of things. They often mean birth, life, death. Those three things. And they say that it symbolizes the trident is that when you have your thoughts and your actions balanced, all those things will help you deal with the agony of birth, life, and death. Will help you stay present, will help you be one with Lord Shiva, things like that. And for those of you who don't know, Shiva is basically their supreme being, and he has a wife called Parvati. So, and Parvati, they have two sons, and one of them is Ganesh, which is right here, and the other one is more of a god of war, and his name is, I have notes here, it's Kartikiva. Again, excuse me for my pronunciation for all my friends out there who study this. So many cool things so far about this. The thing I want to talk about Ganesh is that he is the god of new beginnings, and he is the remover of obstacles. So we don't know what his tusk, what power is what it means. So continue on.
The bow and arrow was Parashurama's, and
okay. So for our movement, Parashuramas is this warrior, this brave in the Hindu mythology. He is responsible for he has a lot of interactions with Shiva, and he does a lot of things for him in the name of him, and oftentimes it involves wiping out people. And when he wipes them out, he goes to Shiva for penance, for forgiveness, and things of that sort. This bow in particular, and I'm going to say in gameplay wise, we're going to visit these three areas, right? We're going to go after the axe, we're going to go after the bow, we're going to go after the trident, we're going to go after these three things as gameplay wise, but I think they represent something to unlock in Khloe's past. They say there is a mythical story regarding the bow that involves Parasuma, and Parasuma is basically the story boils down to a story of worthiness. So we'll get into that. I don't not quite sure about. We already talked about the Trident, and we'll talk about the axe soon. Let's continue on.
The axe was a gift from Shiva. The great battle.
What?
Okay. In Hindu mythology, what Chloe's about to talk about, she mentioned the great battle. There was a great battle between Ganesh and Parasuma. And I'm going to go ahead and play this video right here that pretty much talks about what happened. So in the story, I'm going to go ahead and mute it. In the story, let's play it right here. Yeah. In the story, Paranesh on the left and Ganesh on the right basically had this battle outside of Shiva's palace, or where he was sleeping. Paramesh, another attribute of him is anger, and he thought he had the right. See right here, Ganesh is going to possibly just throw him around like a rag doll. So in the story, Parasuma goes to see Shiva because he believes he has the right to. He travels all this way, and he's like, hey, I want to see Shiva. And Ganesh was like, no, he's sleeping. Do not disturb him. In this video, the whole battle is showing that Ganesh is so much stronger than Parasuma and that he could easily defeat him. So Shiva gives him this axe, right? And in anger and frustration, Parasuma throws it at Ganesh, chopping off his tusk. Very graphic, I know. And so he chops off his tusk. And so what ends up happening is he chops off this tusk, and because Ganesh, seeing that the axe was a gift of his father, he doesn't like really move, and he just lets him hit him, and he basically like passes out, right? And hearing this, as you can see, there is Shiva and Parvati. They see this disturbance, and they know based on all the commotion that Parasuma has done something to Ganesh. So basically what ends up happening, and again, this story is told through children, to teach them about morals and things like that. So the result of the story, what ends up happening of the battle, is that Parasuma, again, doing my best, Parasuma seeks forgiveness from Shiva. Like, I did not know that was going to do it. And what he does, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back a little bit. So what ends up happening is, so what Shiva does is that he resurrects Ganesh. So what he brings Ganesh back to life, and then as you see, Parasuma's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean this. And what ends up happening is all three of them, all the Ganesh, Shiva, and Parvati, forgive him. They forgive Parasuma. They show him forgiveness. And so I really take that away, is that the signs of the great battle is forgiveness. Like, that's the whole thing that the axe represents, is forgiveness. It's a tale about anger and going, all these kinds of things. So that's what that moment is talking about, the great battle. Continue on.
The battle in which Ganesh lost his tusk. I bet we find these symbols. We find the tusk.
Not bad, Fraser.
Yeah, well, you thank my dad for that. Hindu myths were his thing.
Might have rubbed off.
So, here's a quick interesting thing that's going to happen. This is the first time we've mentioned Chloe's father. Throughout all the Uncharted games, we really don't understand who Khloe is, right? And I really believe that this game is going to be about her lost legacy, like I said before. In fact, so far the two heads of this game, the creative director, Sean S. Craig, man, I'm going to butcher, I'm just all about these names. Sean S. Craig and Kurt Marganow did an interview with Game Informer, and then I pulled this insert from that interview that kind of illustrates my point about what's going on here. Let me see if I can play it. Boom. Right here, this soundbite.
I think Personal Taste, from my perspective, is a more grounded story.
Sorry, let me play that again. Without, it was kind of loud.
Exploration of the human spirit.
Okay.
There's a taste from...
I blew that, right? Now here we go.
Experience and that kind of gameplay.
I think Personal Taste, from my perspective, is a more grounded story, a more subtle story, a more exploration of the human spirit. Those are the stories that I like. I think a smaller scope, narratively, also allows us to spend more time with these characters and hear what they've been through, why they're in the positions they are, how they change, what conflicts they have, how they view each other.
I think Sean is really good at being able to abandon work and really try to get some of these narrative moments and get them in gameplay.
Yeah.
So that is what I'm talking about, is that we're going to learn about Khloe. And of course, we're going to learn about Nadine as well. She plays a big part of this. So we're going to learn about these two characters, but I really believe that this is what's weighing down on Khloe, is that as she gets closer into the heart of India, as she gets closer into herself, all these kinds of things, she's going to discover a lot about herself and discover a lot about her past, her lost legacy. One thing I want to point out is in the Hinduism and things like that, they believe Shiva, there's a lot of images with Shiva in this river of Ganges, G-A-N-G-A, Ganges. And this, what represents the river is, they say, knowledge, that knowledge purifies the soul. So, Khloe, Nadine, going up river, this river of knowledge, river of seeking self, finding oneself, will then purify their souls. Because remember, Nadine is an ex-mercenary. Khloe has the evil thief, not evil, but thieves' tendency of being a mercenary as well. So we'll see what they discover. Continue on.
You must be proud. Sun's almost up.
I'll go get ready.
So as you can see, there is tension between the two. As Khloe opens up about her father, she says, yeah, my dad's responsible for all that. He talks a lot about Hindu mythology. And then Nadine's trying to unravel that. And then immediately Khloe goes, sun's almost up, takes it away from her, turns away from Nadine. As you can see, the look on Nadine's face is like, all right, I guess we're going to be about business. And then those guns, I think we're going to be about business. And then she moves on.
Nice work.
Again, it is available August 22nd, as I said, with $40. Let's go ahead and that's what I'm just very excited about, this whole opportunity that this game has. And I really think that, covering all those things that I said in the thing, it's just amazing that I'm able to grasp that much from there. A couple things I just want to talk about the gameplay itself. I really it's crazy. Again, I'm all speculation here, okay? I'm all speculation. One of the things I wanted to talk about, that before I forget, because I'm looking at my notes real quick, is maybe I'm just drawing too many parallels, all right? Maybe that's the whole thing about this. Let's just have a little bit of fun. As I mentioned before, Shiva and Parvati had two siblings, or had two children, and that was Ganesh and Kartikeya. I really believe that these two represent that. Khloe, the intelligent side of things, while Nadine is more of the goddess of war, very physical, things like that. So maybe the gameplay, you're going to see a lot of moments where Khloe is the one being the puzzle solver and things like that, and Nadine's going to be the bruiser. Not saying that Khloe won't have those those moments. I'm just simply saying that maybe these two represent those sides of things of Ganesh and Kartikeya. And maybe I am, grasping at straws. And that's very interesting parallel to me. And then one other thing that I want to bring up is that the cover itself of the game really has this feeling that it could be, again, this cover right here, it really has a sense that this could be co-op. Am I right? I really feel that if Naughty Dog can make this a co-op experience, again, I'm just speculating, Naughty Dog can make this a co-op experience, then that will really, really justify the $40 price tag. Beyond that, I know there's rumors that this is going to be a 10-hour plus game, and for those of you, for comparison's sake, I did tweet about this. The Last of Us Left Behind DLC was only 10 hours, was only 10 hours, and it was $10. It was only 3.5 hours, and it was $10. So for $10 of game of payment, you got 3.5 hours of completion, runtime. I really think that runtime in that length of game was marred or limited by the PlayStation 3 and what they could do regarding all that in the PlayStation. Anyway, so this is native PlayStation 4, and they see this as an expansion. So it will be crazy. As you can see, Nadine is like ready to battle. She has armor. She has this crazy assault rifle. Then you have Khloe, less in armor and things like that. I'm telling you, it would not be crazy if they had this co-op. I'm just speculating. If this was a co-op experience. I mean, it looks like the Resident Evil 5, back to back. It has that Resident Evil 5 vibe regarding the cover itself. So this could be a co-op experience. And the one thing that I wanted to point out, another thing I want to point out before we wrap up this video, is that I believe that this river right here is going to be a huge factor. This river is going to be a huge factor. This river and boat, who knows? Naughty Dog said they want to experiment with being an intimate yet open world. Maybe you go to however you tackle all the different rivers, the different 3 points of the axe, the trident, and the bow, however you want. Maybe that lends itself to open world. Maybe you travel, maybe you control this riverboat on your own. You choose where to go. India has vast river connections and all these kinds of travel system that you can do via the river. I still think it's the river Ganges, which it goes through Nepal, which we all know that was the setting of Uncharted. Look, I could go on and on. But that's what I want to just leave this with you, just to say, not only just applaud Naughty Dog's just attention to detail is just crazy. I'm just floored by all the things that I've discovered just sitting here looking at it. Wow. But comment down below. Let me know what you think regarding the video itself. Before we leave, I'm going to go ahead and thank all the Patreon producers at the YouTube credit level. These people right here are supporting the channel a little bit more. If you'd like to support, go to patreon.com/SanchoWest. We have 23 patrons strong, all in all. But these are the people that are giving a little bit extra to give the special thanks and shout out on YouTube. And thank you again for watching. If you liked any of it, or if you have any questions, or if you know Hinduism better than I do, comment down below. Let us be a community that shares ideas. Again, I'm not the end-all be-all. I'm just a guy who has way too much time on my hands and dissecting things. So comment down below. Let me know what you think. Sub right there. Patreon right there. And here's a video right there if you guys want to see something else. Adios, bye. I don't know. Bye, guys. I'm exhausted. I got hype. Bye, guys. Bye.